Hello YouTubers, Glock 27 for Jimmy here. Today the project is changing the rear end fluid in this 2005 Dodge Ram, and hasn't been done yet. 34,000 miles on the vehicle. Just got through doing plugs on it the other day, and every weekend I'm going to try to do something to it to make sure that it's properly maintained. I've always properly maintained my vehicles. My Chevy, or GMC actually, 01 GMC, has had every fluid change in it since new, and I want to do the same thing with this one and make sure that it's done right. So we went to get the fluids, and we're going to go ahead and get started on this project. For this job, I'm going to need 72 ounces of the SAE 75W140 synthetic gear and axle lubricant. If it's a limited slip, you're going to need to add 4 ounces of the limited slip additive. Okay, we've crawled under the truck here, and here is my 392 axle ratio rear end. It's got a 12 bolts, and it's got the filler tube, one of these rubber. Dodge likes to do these little rubber fill tubes. I like the Chevy that has a drain plug right at the bottom, and then a fill tube around the other end of the other end of it. Sure makes it easy without having to take everything off. But on the other hand, it is nice to take everything out and wipe it out good and see if there's any metal shavings in there and inspect your gears a little bit, and that's always good to do. So obviously, again, I mentioned that you got to check your rear end to make sure that you're putting the right lube in it. The owner's manual is a good thing to refer to. However, sometimes it it may be speaking in more general terms, where some trucks have different add-on options, and the owner's manual might actually give you some inaccurate or misleading information. For instance, this truck here comes out also with 355 rear ends, and those are not limited slip. It's my understanding anyway that those are not limited slip. They may make some that are, but it's my understanding that 355s are not limited slip. And then they also make a 321 rear end for this year truck, and those are typically found, I believe, in the two-wheel drive model Dodge Rams in this year range. So you got the 321, the 355s, and the 392s, and my 392 is in fact a limited slip. Of course, you've got the sure grip and the open differentials and different types of differentials, some of which are limited slip, and the limited slip does take that additive. This one doesn't have a tag on it like I was hoping to find. There are some numbers on the other side of this. If you crawl under the other side here and put your camera up here with a flashlight, with a light, with a flash, and take a picture of it, you can actually get a picture of the numbers on the top of the rear end. If anybody else has any better ideas of where to find out and determine that, I'm interested to see if there's some other stamping on it somewhere. I couldn't find one. Anyway, 392:1 axle ratio. The ratio, of course, is the angular velocity of the input gear to the angular velocity of the output gear. And, the larger gears turn a little slower. Dodge calls their limited slip a anti-spin. So if you see, like this truck, I still have the original window sticker for it, and it actually says anti-spin 392. That's the reason why I know it's a 392, or assume it is, because it was right on the sticker of the vehicle. Rear differential takes 2.2 liters of 75W140 in my truck and 4 ounces of limited slip additive. So to get started, I'm going to get oil pan and some rags and some tools, and we'll get going on this. Use a ratchet for the top ones because my spare tire's in the way. Let's wedge that open a little bit. And we're going to have a stinky mess here. Here comes the stinky mess. Gonna let the majority of this spill out before I take it off. Go ahead and remove it. Okay, I'm cleaning the differential cover. I'm just lightly scraping the big stuff off with a razor blade. You don't want to use a big metal scraper, I don't think, on this. You might scratch the metal. And then I'll just use some brake parts cleaner, and my wife will never know that is missing. Just use that pad to clean this up a little bit. Okay, I went ahead and shot a coat of paint and clear coat on this just to clean it up a little bit better than what it was. Okay, it's all cleaned up. I went ahead and took the little rubber fill plug out from the other side there, and I'm going to go ahead and make a bead around the perimeter of this. Okay, got a pretty good bead around it. Went through each hole. Went pretty liberal, really, with it, and stick that in there. But you could probably do a thinner bead than this and get away with it. Back of the package explains that it is totally cured in 12 to 24 hours after use. Okay, while that's drying, I'm going to clean this up. That's supposed to dry for about 10 minutes. And I'm only really lightly going over this with the razor blade to make sure I don't scratch anything up. And the rest of it we'll go ahead and get with the brake parts cleaner. I'll spray it on the pad directly, and then go over it. And as you can see, it comes off pretty easily with the brake parts cleaner. I'm sure there's several other things that would work. A little more. Before I do a final wipe down on this, I'm going to take a really old rag or something and just gonna go in here and really wipe down the bottom of this. There's the magnet. A little bit of gunk on there I'll clean off. There's a little slot in the bottom where this magnet goes into. Collect any metal shavings down there. But it seems to me like one side of the magnet is sticking a lot stronger, which is this side of the magnet. Seems to be sticking stronger than the other side that's barely sticking. So I'm going to have the strong side up to make sure it grabs onto those particles there. And there's the that little square groove that the magnet fits in. Right in there. Okay, carefully start one bolt. Okay, we're going to go ahead and fill it up. Alright, so that's it. Thank you for watching. Glock 27 for Jimmy, signing out. Well, I made a mess of the new sponge, but we'll clean that up and put it back in the kitchen and see if she notices.